BBOR, Black Box Online Radio, coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts. Normally we record this program in West Virginia, but today I am up in Boston because we're going to be celebrating the Christmas holiday up here. And what better occasion to talk about Deval Patrick, one of the 2020 presidential candidates. On this program, we're trying to get through as many of the candidates as we can to just have a bit of a discussion about each one, to give everybody something. And it came to my attention that we had not yet talked about the former Massachusetts governor, Deval Patrick. The first and foremost thing I need to say about him is that he declared his candidacy in November of 2019 for the Democratic primary. But the thing is, though, he entered in the race so late that he is only eligible for 48 states, and the same must be true for Mike Bloomberg. He will not be even on the ballot for Alabama and Arkansas, and Bloomberg and Patrick are the latest people to ever enter the presidential primary, as far as I could comprehend. I heard that in some news clips, but I have some trouble believing that that's the latest anyone's ever entered the primary. That's just something that you're hearing on the news and stuff. The second thing we should say about Deval Patrick is I cannot believe that he is 63 years old. He doesn't look it, he doesn't sound it, but I guess they're sort of calling him an Obama light. Not to be too silly or anything. Now, the heart and soul of the problem with Deval Patrick, and I do mean problem, is he is not for Medicare for all. He entered into the race late. He was trying to make a splash, but he's trying to make a splash as a moderate centrist. That's something that we've been talking about frequently on this channel. You will not make a splash as a moderate centrist. It is not bold. Being a moderate, being center-left, isn't even that bold. And the big thing that has turned off a lot of Democratic voters is he is against Medicare for all. Now, when I was reading about Deval Patrick, the first thing I saw about him in healthcare was that he is supporting an expansion of Obamacare. Because when Deval Patrick was governor of Massachusetts, he put Mitt Romney's Romneycare into action. He's a very passionate supporter of that. But in an interview with CBS News, I heard that he is also supporting the public option. And I believe the expansion of Medicare and the public option are somewhat different. I believe there is a very, very subtle difference between those two things. But the first and foremost thing we need to say is he is not for Medicare for all. So the Bernie Sanders supporters are just tearing this guy to pieces online. And I pulled up a video here from CBS News and just wanted to read off some of the comments section here. Yes! With 9 S's. Deval Patrick is running. I've been waiting for this. And that's a quote from No One Ever, crying. Deval Patrick, we're America. We can do anything. That's a true quote from Deval Patrick, mind you. But he also says we can't do Medicare for all. Someone says, no one asked for this, laugh out loud. He's just looking for attention, says somebody else. Someone give him a dog. Oh, I actually kind of like that one. But the thing is with that is, a lot of people think that people are using the presidency as a way to springboard their own careers. They are running for office just so that they will be mentioned in the national news, even for 2 weeks or something, and then somebody like Deval Patrick can go back into the shadows. As far as I know, he hasn't qualified for the most recent debate, which might actually be even going on tonight or something like that. Maybe when people are going to be listening to this recording, they will hear it they will hear this one after the debate has aired. But the thing is, though, he is someone who is not going to be making a very large splash. And it's not only moderate centrism, because one thing about Mike Bloomberg is he entered the race with a bang. I'm not sure about all parts of the country, but I get 6 or 7 Mike Bloomberg ads a day. And they're on YouTube, mind you, so that's probably going to be nationwide. In West Virginia, we also see them on the TV when we're watching the local news and stuff. We get Mike Bloomberg ads. He put a lot of money into the campaign. But Mike Bloomberg has the resources, whereas somebody like Deval Patrick does not. Now, I wanted to have a big discussion with you guys about Deval Patrick and the possibility of him having a genuine candidacy for the presidency of the United States of America. But when I was on Deval Patrick's website, I found very little information. I was horrendously disappointed. Yes, he talks about a few things. He talks about unity, and I do think it's good to talk about the politics of unity. We were shouting and screaming last week about the politics of unity. He wants to be a unifier. Okay, I mean, I'm on board with that. He talks about something that is kind of growing with the moderate centrists in the United States of America, and that's pre-K to 14. In America, we have the K through 12 educational system. Some people want to introduce what's called pre-K to 14, where we would have universal pre-K. Everybody from John Delaney to Julian Castro supported universal pre-K. I believe Bernie Sanders as well. Everybody is pretty much in favor of that. They think it's a really good idea. Pre-K to 14, and then the first 2 years of community college would be absorbed into that. So you would start with universal pre-K, and this would go all the way up to the first 2 years of community college. It's kind of a way to expand education. And it's not only about trying to put people into the workforce. The more education that a person has, the less likely they are to enter into prison. So it's a way to crack down on the school-to-prison pipeline, the prison industrial complex, and I believe that those are the much more important factors than talking about the benefits of an associate's degree or the benefits of a 4-year diploma. The only thing, though, is I couldn't really find too many detailed things on Deval Patrick's website. I mean, even somebody like John Delaney has written countless plans about what he wants to do about growing businesses, what he wants to do about the Trans-Pacific Partnership. His website is full of plans, but John Delaney's been on the campaign since 2017, mind you, still at 0% in the polls. However, somebody like Deval Patrick, I was just like, where is his stuff? Where is, where's even the elevator pitch? Vote for me because I'm Deval Patrick and we need more African Americans in the race or something like that? And that is not meant to be a silly statement. There are many clips from him on CBS News, and there was a clip of somebody else, what was his name? Ed O'Keefe was talking about Deval Patrick, and he said that exact same thing. Or at the very least, he said, well, he has a chance of winning South Carolina because he's black. That's what this guy on CBS News said, but I believe Deval Patrick was a consultant, kind of like a consulting reporter with CBS News for a while. That's why they've brought him in on, so many of these news clips are from CBS. I believe he worked with them in the past, so they're giving him a little bit of a push. But you do see this thing about candidates sort of making just the smallest splash and then going into the shadows. Somebody like Wayne Messam received an enormous amount of airtime, and Wayne Messam has not only dropped out, but after the first week and a half, nobody had anything to say about Wayne Messam. And if you were to YouTube search Wayne Messam videos on YouTube, you would just find 300 views, 400 views, 500 views. And you might be thinking, well, maybe those are some small programs that nobody knows. You're talking about Channel 9 News in New Hampshire. Who's watching that program anyway? Andrew Yang appeared on the same program that Wayne Messam did, over 100,000 views. People are tuning into this stuff. It's just no one's listening to Wayne Messam. No one is listening to John Delaney. Barely anyone is listening to Julian Castro. Nobody is listening to Deval Patrick. And in all seriousness, I don't really think that many people are interested in Mike Bloomberg. It's just that he has kind of put himself in so many different places that he's kind of like, you have to pay attention to me because I'm rich and stuff. Here's looking at you, Tom Steyer. It's pretty much the same story. Going to go back to some of the comments here on this one video. Watch the CBS reporters when they're doing these stories. They don't even believe their own bullshit anymore. That's kind of mean. Nah, it isn't. That's not mean. Big ideas from Deval Patrick, but he doesn't even give one. Instead, he's been sent to be against Medicare for all, and any big progressive idea while pretending he's for something similar. I do have to confess, I don't really see anything that is overwhelmingly progressive about Deval Patrick's presidential platform, but I would say, though, one of the things they did mention in all of these CBS News clips that are available online is that Deval Patrick used to work as a civil rights attorney prosecuting, very specifically, arson cases that were committed against African Americans. So he was very much involved with the justice system and very much involved with the law, and actually sounded like he was doing some good work for a time. He's like Obama, but wimpier. Yes, that's why I was calling him Obama Light. It reminds me of the first time I heard Mike Tyson talk about something, and it's just like, the first time I heard Mike Tyson's voice, I was like, whoa, that person with that voice. And not to mention, though, I was very, very surprised Deval Patrick was 63 years old. maybe he can, quote-unquote, break through the Epstein cover-up as well. Okay, someone is writing something comment here that's supposed to be somewhat facetious, but as you see, though, if he were to just get up there and be like, Epstein didn't kill himself, and start banging a drum, maybe start banging some pots and pans, that is bold, that is outrageous, and that would get him noticed. Would that get him the presidency? Probably not. But, outrageousness is valuable. Look who we've got in the White House right now. But even if it didn't get him the presidency, it would at least get him attention, which is probably the whole reason why he's running in the first place, using the presidential primary as a springboard for their own career. But there is another possibility about why Deval Patrick is running, and we can talk about that in a second. Being from Massachusetts, all I can say is laugh and cry, laugh and cry, laugh and cry. Governor Deval Patrick, Deville, Patrick was a lousy governor with sins that included diverting $27 million in Commonwealth funds to off-budget accounts that paid for posh trade junkets. I don't know what posh trade junkets are. I'm not even going to try and hide it. I don't know what that is. Ineffective advertising contracts and a deal with a federally subsidized tourism venture backed by Senator Harry Reid. Okay, so far, not a good start. Up until 2006, he sat on the board of the ACC Capital Holdings Company, the parent company of Ameriquest Mortgage, that was a key player in the 2008 financial crisis that almost burnt down the economy. I don't know which is more delusional, that he thinks he has a chance of getting elected, or that he thinks he is better than any of the other candidates. Okay, wow, that's a big burn right there. And what it sounds like this person is saying is that Deval Patrick is an oligarch. He's an oligarch, but he doesn't look like it. And I believe I heard in another news clip that he also has connections to Bain Capital, Mitt Romney's financier company. Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna win. All right, laugh out loud with 3 exclamation points. They're trying to split the delegates any way they can from Warren and Sanders. Now, here's the stuff we wanted to talk about. I've been reading this online a little bit from other people just talking about it. I haven't seen it in too many news sources. I don't even know if I've seen it in a single news source. But this is a theory that's going on out there that people like Deval Patrick and perhaps some of the other moderate centrists are not running in the presidential primary to win. And it's not even so much that they're trying to springboard their own careers. It's that they are paid by the DNC. They are working for the DNC. They are working for the Democratic establishment. They might even be working for the Biden campaign to take delegates away from Sanders and Warren. We see these theories come up during every election cycle. Are they true? I'm really not sure because I'm not a presidential insider. I'm not someone who is an insider with the DNC or anything like that. But what people sort of think is someone like Deval Patrick or some of these other moderate centrists that are in the race are trying to put the votes and the delegates in an untouchable place. They put them in the deep freeze. In short, they're taking away votes that could potentially go to Sanders or Warren, and that gives somebody like, say, Joe Biden a better chance at becoming president. Or maybe Hillary Clinton is going to enter in the race. It's now December 2019, and she'll just shock us all. Donald Trump was making fun of her the other night at his rally, but it's kind of hard to make fun of someone when you're being impeached, although I highly doubt Donald Trump will be removed from office. 1% chance he'll be removed from office. It's just that, let's digress from that, though. There's a word for this guy, Deval Patrick. Wormy. Save your time and money, Deval. This guy looks like he never blinks. Some people really don't blink. If you ever watch the news, you can just kind of get in a staring contest with some people, and you're like, holy crap, you have better staring than Captain America. How is this possible? So basically, Deval Patrick is just saying the same thing as other candidates with different words. Well, in all fairness, that's kind of what politics is. There are countless people out there that have Deval Patrick's platform. Maybe not everybody has his exact resume, but a lot of people have this type of moderate centrist platform. In all seriousness, what really would set him apart from so many other people? And I wanted to find some good stuff on his website. Didn't see it there, though. CBS made Ashley Bianco a scapegoat when ABC killed the Epstein case for 3 years. Oh, well, I guess they're back on Epstein didn't kill himself. I remember the lefties bashing milquetoast Mitt Romney for working with Bain Capital. I wonder if they will bring this up as well. I mean, yes, in all seriousness, if they're going to be very critical of Mitt Romney for his connections to Bain Capital, why don't they slaughter Deval Patrick for it? The only reason not to go after Deval Patrick for something like this is because people just don't think he is relevant enough. And I mentioned that during the Tom Steyer upload, that the whole reason I did an upload on Tom Steyer for this channel is because somebody else said that he wasn't relevant enough. I mean, he's not relevant enough to discuss. But this is a far-off corner of YouTube, so this is the place where we can actually have these weird and wacky discussions talking about these fringe political types that have zero chance of being elected. And I think, though, that something really happened with Deval Patrick. Mike Bloomberg decided to run, and Deval Patrick's fire went out. They were like, maybe this guy Deval Patrick can come in and make be a little bit of a game changer in the race. Mike Bloomberg ran, people forgot who Deval Patrick was. And he really is somebody that I didn't know about very much. I mean, I'm in Massachusetts now, I didn't know a whole lot about him, but I'm a West Virginian, and I don't think he has made an enormous kind of breakthrough on the national stage. I mean, very few people in West Virginia are like, you know who should be president? That Governor Deval Patrick. Yeah, he's the type that we need in the White House. Come to think of it, I haven't heard any American say that ever, even write it online, except these people here on this video who are being sarcastic. And I'm fully aware that following the comments section isn't the best way to get the news. I just thought that everybody was dropping just the smallest bit of insight, and it was just scattered out through a variety of sentences, we should say. And they're just sort of like, why is this guy running? What on earth is he doing? He has no chance. Not to mention, two possible theories. He could just be doing this to get attention for himself, and he might use it for a future career opportunity, possibly even a cabinet position. Think about how many people who are put in the presidential cabinet are candidates themselves. Or the other possibility that he's actually part of a larger plan that is orchestrated by the DNC to take votes away from Sanders and Warren. And the progressives are very passionate for them. Almost any candidate that wasn't Bernie Sanders was being slaughtered online in terms of discussions and comment sections, and yes, of course, the like-dislike ratio, but those things don't reveal everything. And I think, though, if you're actually going to talk about moderate centrists who are going to be possibly taking votes away from Sanders and Warren, it probably won't be Deval Patrick, because Deval Patrick's going to be at like 0.8% perhaps, but I would rather say somebody like Michael Bennet, and how about somebody like Amy Klobuchar, who's actually at 2% in most polls. The thing with Amy Klobuchar is that, once again, other than having a little bit of an announcement that got, once again, that week and a half when she was mentioned in the news, and a few moments from the debate stage, she also is somebody who hasn't really been enormously beneficial to the presidential primary. I don't really hear the boldness, and I don't really hear the passionate connection to the ideas from Amy Klobuchar, and we did an upload about her on this channel. The thing is, though, these moderate centrists are being moderate for a reason. Not enough of a splash. And who was it that said that if you are not outrageous, you will not get noticed? Roger Stone. And I hope he has a good time in prison. But that's all I can say for now about Deval Patrick. If you have anything to say about Deval Patrick or any of the other presidential candidates, please drop a comment below. We're going to try to get through everybody, but I just wanted to talk about one of them that I was curious about because I had never really looked into his stuff. And, of course, I was disappointed. Until next time.